Well, good evening from Eastern Canada. It is St. John, New Brunswick, the host to this year's Ford World Women's Curling Championship. So we are in the only city that sits on the Bay of Fundy here in the province of New Brunswick, Canada's only bilingual province. So we'll get you set up and head in to the Harbor Station, where we will have draw number 2 for the Ford World Women's Curling Championship. Well, as you see all the flags and the crowd here in attendance on a Saturday night for this USA-China, our feature game. It is well, as they have been honoring one team per draw, it is the Korean side who are in action here in this draw. They'll take on Sweden. We'll get to that momentarily here as we get set for USA against China. And now let's meet the teams. The lead for Team USA, Tabitha Peterson. The second, Natalie Nicholson. Third, Nicole Jornstad. And their skip, Allison Pottinger. And now Team China, their lead, Shotong She. Their second is Jinli Liu. Their third, Ray Wang. And their skip, Sedia Louis. Well, and look at the lineups here, or the standings, pardon me. Canada, Korea, Latvia, and Sweden all winning earlier today. And you see, after one draw, not a lot to be said in those standings so far here on day 1 of the World Championship. Proud to welcome in two-time Olympian and World Champion and Swiss Helm, who'll be with myself, Luke Coley, for tonight's draw. It's a pleasure to be with you and throughout the week.
Yeah, this is an exciting opportunity here in St. John for me. And Luke, I can't wait to do this first matchup with China and the United States. So this is the first time on the ice for both these teams tonight. And they're playing on Sheet D in Harbor Station, this beautiful arena we're here in.
Yeah.
Should be a good matchup. We've got a very experienced U.S. team facing a new look team from Harbin, China.
Yeah, you see China, normally you think of Bingyu Wang and her side. It's a different foursome. Another young one coming up out of China, so we'll wait and see. All 4 sheets in play. It will be Hammer belonging to the USA, and they'll have the red stones.
So the draw to the hammer was won by Allison Pottinger in the United States with an out-turn draw to the button. The Chinese team decided to play the in-turn draw to the button and just a little outside the U.S. So lead, Shoteng She. Her first rock here in St. John, New Brunswick.
Well, not a lot on her resume so far, but she'll add now a World Championship. She has a World Juniors, where she was the alternate for Cédric Louis.
Yeah, her heart has to be beating pretty loud right now, getting to throw first rock in this on this ice in this championship setting. And lead Tabitha Peterson from Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is Tabitha's second world appearance. She competed for the U.S. in Lethbridge, Alberta in 2012.
Well, centerline guard and right after it. Both these teams haven't played. First draw by, and a very nice start by Tabitha.
Yeah, it's exciting. Not afraid to put rocks in play for both these teams. The Chinese team is going to try and play a nice hack weight shot to remove that U.S. rock on the top of the forefoot. This one's running a bit on them. It's going to have to curl quite a bit.
Well, just touches actually puts it even more protected by that centerline guard. We'll see how Pottinger goes about it here with the hammer in this first end. They have the centerline guard electing to hit that one. Too early to draw behind another one.
Yeah, I think it's too early to put everything into the middle. I think ideally the United States would like to hit and roll a little to the outside, but a nose is fine here. It'll force the Chinese team to make a tough run back or maybe hit the open one.
Well, not ideal rolling out on that situation now.
Yeah, it allows the Chinese team to shift back to a little bit of offense here, as it were, to freeze on top of the rock in the forefoot and take the controlling position in the rings. So this is Jinli Louis.
You see all members quite young. Trying to build another team, compete with the World Championship that was won by Bingyu Wang.
Yeah, and Jin Lee is a very experienced player as an alternate for Bingyu Wang's team at the 2009 World Championships and I believe the 2010 Olympic Games.
Yeah, she has it down in her bio as most memorable moments, winning the bronze at the Olympics in Vancouver and a World Championship in 2009.
Yeah, and she just threw a beautiful draw, freeze tap there, and it's going to, the U.S. is going to have to address those rocks there in the center of the sheet.
Natalie Nicholson run it straight back. Well, and that ends up losing their own in the process.
Yeah, tough angles there on that. That just hit on just the wrong side of the run back stone.
Look at the rules of play. 6 ends minimum in the round robin. You get 73 minutes per team and 1 coach interaction. Clock will continue to run when the coach gets down onto the ice.
Yeah, so that's a little different than a timeout. We use the timeout to start that, but it's a coach interaction, and the clock continues to run.
Gets another opinion down there. Gets sometimes the coach likes it to get up and go for a little walk if they're a little cold. Ideally, they hope it's in a good scenario. As this high guard goes out in front, it is the U.S. with the red stones and hammer in this first end of play.
And Natalie will be asked to essentially play the same shot she just did with the run back. This time, though, it's a run back double using her own stone.
Same way. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa, yeah.
Well, try and catch them both, get them both going out, and look at that run back double. Natalie Nicholson.
Sorry about her first. Yeah, sorry.
It's a nice way to start off, especially after a miss on your first and then making that one.
Yeah, just catching unfortunate angles on her first one. She catches perfect angles on this second shot. So the Chinese team is going to elect to hit that stone and try and roll underneath their long center guard.
Well, it just rolls the other way. And it's out in the open now. We'll probably see teams try and make that hit and roll underneath. Good way to just calm things down after what looked like was going to be a lot of rocks in play to start the end. And all of a sudden now just a bunch of hits will happen.
So Nicole Jornstadt, the vice skip for the United States team, throws an in-turn or a clockwise rotation takeout on the corner there. Nice simple shot for your first shot at the Worlds.
Nicole, we'll talk about it throughout, but she throws a little more rotation than other players. So we'll keep an eye on that because we have seen in our first game today at Canada and Russia, it was a little bit straighter than with some new rocks that they're using.
Yeah, the ice was curling about 3 feet, so not a tremendous amount of curl, but you could make lots of shots if you threw the right weight. You still got movement to the stones, so if you throw a rock with slightly more rotation, it might run a little straighter on you. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
Well, Nicole, the 33-year-old daughter Emma, 18 months old.
Yeah, beautiful little girl, Emma. I think she's at home, probably watching her mom tonight here on the YouTube channel.
I know, it's like right at the broom.
So there's a good look. Ooh, the scenario that it sits, couple of guards, just that stone. Top 12 foot, no real risk either way, and you've played, probably know these guys better than they know themselves with the number of times you've played them, and they don't mind starting the game off a little more defensive, keeping it a little simple.
Well, your first game at the World Championships, I think you really want to get your slider underneath you in a nice solid way, simple basic shots to execute and get a feel for the sound, the energy, the speed of the ice, the movement of the rocks, just to get comfortable. Now with that rollout by Sedia Louis, skip for the Chinese team, it provides Allison Pottinger and her team a chance to generate some offense here. The guards are staggered in a way that makes it a little difficult. That one center guard, the yellow rock, is a little long. You can get around it either way. So she's going to want to show a little bit, I think, on the outside.
I don't know what mine was. No, we're not going to go through the middle because we don't know what the hell is going on over there. Exactly. So this should be
Well, that's why they're not going through the middle. Going to play the intern. Got a better feel for this spot here.
Yeah, and this is a good example of trying not to experiment too much on your skip stones. You want the skip stones to be in a place where you know where to put the broom and you know the speed of the ice. So Allison feels that they know this. In turn, come around, draw a little bit better than the other spots in the ice.
Well, they get it top 12 foot.
much. I'm like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, and it looks like it might be directly underneath that guard.
Yeah. Yeah, good job.
Cynthia Louis heading down the ice, getting ready to throw her last rock of this first end. She's got a pretty tough shot here. It's a tricky little come-around tap out.
Can't see very much, just a sliver of that. It's funny just that we talked about being open, the rollout, and all of a sudden now faced with a difficult shot on her last.
Yeah, the first person to get their rock buried underneath there really put the pressure on the other team. And that, in this situation, was the United States after that rollout.
And that's the case, just a lot of weight. Doesn't use as a curl. It was a tough shot either way, but slides right by.
Yeah, it was a tough shot. And I don't think she overthrew it there. I just think that, that she was asking for a lot out of that rock in this situation. So this gives Allison Pottinger and the United States a chance to draw for their second point. She'll be throwing that same draw, that in-turn draw.
Well, put it into the house, and this is what we can put up on the board as a skip's deuce.
Yeah, skip's deuce.
Well, got to get past their own. We'll touch it, slide in, and it is into the 8-foot as Allison Pottinger and Team USA strike first. They lead China 2-0. Here it's draw 2 from the Ford World Women's Curling Championship.
Nice end. Good job.
I was like, just keep going. It
I don't think that was
move
me.
and stop.
Do you?
It was T.
It was T, but it didn't matter. We couldn't get on top of that one, so I wanted to make sure we.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking in terms of judging for
Oh,
weight.
yeah.
That's what I meant. Not that we should.
It's
Well, here we're going to look. Allison Pottinger and her final stone of that first end. Didn't look all that comfortable when she released it, but sweepers able to drag this one past their own, get it into the rings. Yeah, a little work for the sweepers early on in the game, and they got no problem doing that when it is a deuce for them.
Yeah, that's why the sweepers are there, right? Those of us who have played front end or third, you'd rather sweep than not have a chance.
Absolutely. So we get set for end number 2. Allison Pottinger couldn't have asked for a better start than what they got.
Yeah, they got a couple of half shots there, right at the end, and took advantage of those. Again, they're a super experienced team, and I think that showed with a patient approach to that first end. And a great run back by their second to clear out 2 well-placed Chinese rocks. Was a bit of a turning point on that end.
Looks like they've got the go-ahead for the second end. Take a little time to make sure all the games keep going at the same time across the board.
So the last minute.
And Allison, very experienced at the World Championship, including being an alternate. This is her 12th trip here. She's won it.
nice little 5, girls.
She's finished second 3 times.
Line's okay. It's
So-
looking
Yeah.
nice.
No
Line's just
stranger,
fine.
and no stranger to you, Ann. She was your alternate for Team USA at the
14-2.
recent Sochi Games.
Yeah, and I was her teammate in 2003 when we won the Worlds.
Tab.
So
Good work.
I
Nice
know
job, girls.
Allison would like to repeat that. So tall order in this great field of champion teams. And so China here is going to just do a simple takeout on this rock, keep things nice and simple. That rock's in they feel is in too much of a powerful position. So they're going to try and hit and roll.
Well, Shou Tongxie ends up rolling out of the ring, stays in play.
Yeah, the key thing for them there was really making sure that Red Rock went away. So they accomplished goal 1 of that shot. Was the roll part, just went a little too far on the hit and roll.
Got it. Keep her moving, girls. Keep her coming. Keep her coming. All the way, you're at 14-9.
Well,
You got a
hits.
goal. Keep her coming.
They'll just try and put this one into the rings as well. Jump over sheet A, Germany and Switzerland.
Good work, Tab.
Benia Felcher, the Swiss skip this year at the World Championship. Final stone. See the scenario come into your picture, that yellow stone top of the 8-foot, and a draw to the 8-foot as well. And a chance for that Swiss team to get an early deuce. Felcher's good on that, so 2-0. Switzerland leading Germany. And a rare time to see Germany without Andrea Schopp at a World Championship.
Right, this is a new look team for Germany, which we'll get to see a little bit later on in the draw here. We'll keep our eye on that game over on sheet A, but as we get back to our feature game, a hit and a spin, and now the U.S. team is taking a good long look at whether or not that's on the rings. They think it is.
I think if you question it all, you probably hit that one.
Yeah, I think at this point, with the play being in the rings, Allison is content to make sure that the Chinese team doesn't generate a deuce in a simple way.
Whoa! Whoa! Close! Whoa! No roll, Tab. Atta girl on that. Very nice. Good shot.
Good job.
Nice work. Threw it good.
Well, it may have just been a simple hit, but you go to the wide side and said through it good. Just relaying that confident thought that good throw. We're on the right page here to start things off. Jinli Louis. Second for Team China here.
They're sweeping really hard here to hold the line on this one. And that was a great sweep. They swept right away, all the way down the sheet. Those girls really worked hard to keep that rock on target.
你们现在是所有的球，只要不顶就呼往下，你这9.6的力量，力量一点不小。都说没现在是不顶就那啥，你问他。
Hang on, you're out here a wee bit. 6.
So with that rollout, that gives Natalie Nicholson, second for the United States, a free draw. This is a shot that
14.
that can be very valuable to a team early in the game. You get to practice your draw weight in a very unthreatening situation.
I just think we've lost
So this young team from China needs to find a way, if they're going to play this hit game, to really keep those rocks in the ring, stick around, force the United States to make some tougher shots.
Well, overcurled on the last one. This one a little outside. Just might have been just on the release on a couple of 2 different releases that caused the result to roll out. And now Nicole Jornstad play her out-turn draw. Get a chance to see the hog-to-hog time here.
Yeah, and hog-to-hog is a great way to measure how fast the ice is and how fast your rocks are moving. So this looks a little heavy to me.
Yeah, we were getting about 14-2 earlier today for the draw weight. And that one goes to the back line and out of
Just
play.
through. Yeah, I think the draw weight you're looking for is probably something around 14.5. And that way you involve your sweepers. You get to use all the tools your team has out there in order to make your shots. So it's a good opportunity for the young third for Team China to put a nice draw rock into play.
停线没问题啊，后边
还可以，
13秒6
能停，差不多能停。
哦，不擦了，不擦了，练。哦 OK， 这13秒6啊。
And we get a look at the coach for Team China, Tan Wei-dong.
Always got a smile on his face when you go have a conversation with him.
Yeah, one of the nicer faces to see and run into around the rink here in the great world of curling.
To 9-5.
Well, hit and roll to the side.
And we get a look at the coach for the United States. That's Derek Brown.
Another one of the good guys in the sport of curling. Originally from Scotland, now in Wisconsin.
So this is an interesting choice here by China. They've decided to play a freeze on the rock in the back of the rings here. So this is a change from a kind of defense to an offense type of shot. So two nice draws from the third for for Team China.
Well, you see the separation, it over curled a little bit. That's why they got off, because if they would have dragged it, it would have been probably just past it.
Yeah, they wanted to be shot. I mean, obviously they wanted to be frozen right onto the red rock, but being shot was really critical when you make that choice.
Pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. Even if we double them off, it's okay too.
So lots of good communication out of the skip, Allison Pottinger, informing her front end really what's acceptable, what weight they're looking for out of this shot, what they should be expecting.
Yes! All the way hard. You gotta go all the way down. Yes! All the way hard. All the way hard, guys. To the end. Yes! To the end.
Oh, big scrub here.
Yeah, and they get a jam.
Just,
Sorry about that.
that was
I'll ask Nick.
worst case possible there, over curling and leaving that one. They would have wouldn't had a problem getting rid of it, of everything.
Right. You know, Allison had gone through the options in the hack of what was acceptable. I can tell you that that is the unacceptable outcome for that situation.
Yeah, that was pretty safe. Shoot.
So this gives China a chance for their very simple deuce score of 2 points with the hammer. Skip Sedia Louis needs to throw the out-turn draw and try to create as much separation as possible between the two yellow rocks in the rings in the scoring position. So we'll get a nice hog-to-hog time on this stone as well. Looking for, again, about 14.2 to 14.5 for a speed. We've got a lot of sweepers. Yeah, so we had a 15.8 there. So the ice may be getting a little faster. So the higher the number between the hog lines and the farther it goes, that means the faster the ice is.
Same weight.
So Allison Pottinger's just going to try and hit and roll in front of that yellow stone and make Sedia Louis' last shot as difficult as possible. So hopefully creating a jam situation.
What a roll, making that, as you said, make a tough last rock. But we'll get the nose hit. It is shot stone, though, so does force them to play the hit.
Good work. So the first one, we just didn't think it would. You're further up and over, so maybe I couldn't get it.
Yeah, and this is a spot where China had played a shot earlier in the end where they rolled out of the ring. So let's hope the skip learned where to put the broom down and what weight to get to the nose on this shot. And they have some room to roll to the inside of the rings as well. Well, they have 8 or 9 feet that they can roll on the angle. So
yeah, nothing else. Just those 2 stones that are in play right now. So final stone, second end. Sedia Louis. Just that quiet control weight right on the nose, and 2 right back for Team China. The Harbin Curling Club in Harbin, China. 2-2 after 2.
So, otherwise, it's good.
So I'm probably like.
And we get a replay on Team China's hammer stone from the second end. Sedia Louis with a hit and stick for her second point. That was a great shift by Team China from defense to offense, recognizing that the U.S. rock that was behind the tee line was a stone that could help them instead of something they should be hitting. I thought that was a great change of tactics in order to generate their 2 points.
You see that a lot of younger teams that would just, yeah, we're hitting, let's just keep hitting. Even if we're a little off, which we were, if they peel everything out, or they peel ours out, we can play it again, or then we can hit.
Right.
We give it a shot, see what happens, they get a deuce out of it.
Yeah, and this young skip, she had considered freezing to the one that was on the back 8 earlier in the end on the second's first stone, and chose to hit it, and then they rolled out. I think it was a great, again, change of tactics. So the Chinese team has called for this rock to be in the rings. They are going to, but now it's a little light, so they're going to play the center line guard as it starts to curl.
Well, you've been throwing draws with that one. Let's just do this one.
So there's a couple of ways that the U.S. could deal with this center line guard. They could put up their own corner on the other side. They could come around it the way they've chosen to, be the first one in, as it were. Or they could, we've seen in recent times a lot of draws to the back 8 foot on the side, where you're challenging a team to ignore you. And Tabitha Peterson makes another nice come around.
I think that is all who you have throwing those lead stones. What confidence do you have in that person?
But it's still like,
What's their draw weight like? Hopefully your lead's got their draw weight down, because then you can play that. And I like, that's the most aggressive of any call.
Yeah. So, and I love that positioning of that rock in the top 8 foot. Lots of teams tend to bring that rock too far in, and you bring the play only into the 4 foot so early. So now the Chinese team has to figure out whether they're going to try and freeze to the rock on top, tap it, or draw around it. So this looks like a nice freeze.
Yeah, these next few shots, it's all going to be about making sure you leave good angles and good positioning for your stones.
Yeah. So far, these are pretty perfectly positioned rocks out of the lead. So the USA with hammer. This is their lead's last stone.
Line's good. Lots of room. What do you got, girl? I got room. Just 5. Whoa, 4's okay. Whoa. Whoa for line. Whoa for line. Whoa. Whoa, you got to whoa. Whoa, you're going to bounce. Whoa. Yep. Okay, that's fine.
And that rock just doesn't come up enough. It just doesn't curl the same as her first rock. It looks about the same weight.
Yeah, the angle, it just doesn't present itself very well sitting on the side. Now allows this hit.
By Jin Li. Her intern hit in the second end was the one that overcurled and rolled out. So this one ran a little straight on her. That's in a nice spot, though. They still have the control position on top of the United States rock in the front of the 4 foot. The U.S. is going to try and play a hit and roll, I think.
Do you want to get to the 4 foot with this one, or just a little bit in?
You know, I think ideally you'd like to roll all the way in or leave it out there. Make them look at it. It may not be in scoring position yet, but you don't need to be in scoring position at this point. This is only the second's first rock of the end.
Yeah, follow your girls. Yeah, you gotta go hard. Hard, guys, hard, right to it, hard. Every bit, hard. Okay, net.
Well, the hit's made, but rolls out.
It's a 10-5. The weight's pretty close.
Just one of those that you call, you'll hear said a half shot. So you make the hit, but you don't stick around.
Right. So there was a hit and a stick, or a hit and a roll was the shot there, and it accomplished only half of the goal. So they're just going to try and use their own to take the U.S. stone out of play and create some separation.
They would have loved to hold the shooter, but it's going to roll out of the rings, I think.
Yeah.
That was a tough shot because of how much you could see. That yellow didn't move at all, so.
Are we sitting 1? We're 1.
Yeah, so the good thing for Team China with that shot is that they are buried underneath the guard. So, in our split screen, we get a look back at Germany-Switzerland game. This is Imogen Lehman, skip for Team Germany, the new look Team Germany. Throwing a draw. Sweepers are working it really hard over there.
Yeah, it's different when you step into that skip position and all of a sudden you're leading and that one won't get there. And it will be a steal of 1 for Switzerland, so they're up 3-0 after 2. Yeah, that change from moving to third and playing with Andrea Schopp and her experience, and now you're running the ship.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to be an adjustment. But this is a great time for Imogen to get that experience, and with Germany not qualifying for the Olympics in Sochi, to maybe make a change and try and generate an opportunity to go to Pyeongchang in Korea in 2018.
Got to hold it, try and keep the shooter. Seeing this a lot. Just a case of the first game, ice a little bit, just not feeling where the room needs to go.
I'm not sure. That one, it looked like they were all a little surprised. The sweepers were right off that shot. That's almost like that one might have picked a little bit, or just made an unfortunate turn on a spot on the ice.
Quickly.
Speaking of Pyeongchang and South Korea, a check-in on the Sweden-Korea game.
Yeah, and last rock here for Team Korea. They're down 2-0. Sweden had the hammer in the first, got 2, and now facing 5, trying to get into the against those ones. Not sure if she has an open look at it or they hit, and she is playing the hit, but it slides right through. So look at those reds.
It's a big steal of 5 points.
So that one lopsided
Sweden
already.
Yeah, the good thing for Team Korea is they were down quite a bit in their first draw against Denmark, and they made an incredible comeback to win that first opening draw earlier today. So if you're going to give up a big score, it's better to do it early, and we know that they have the ability to come back.
So it was a wild one.
Yeah, back on our feature sheet, we get another hit and roll out. That might be a tricky spot in the ice, just not adjusting over there. But they did accomplish the goal, got rid of that USA rock.
So after all that, it was the U.S. lying 2, now going after that one that's sitting top of the 8-foot.
Yeah. So the U.S. accomplished the goal of removing that rock from the top of the 8-foot, but it's still in the rings. So with a hit and stick here by Team China, that will put what's called the force on in this third end. It will potentially force the United States to a single point if China makes their shots from here on out.
Well, this is the first of Skip Stone's third end 2-2 game.
So this is the spot on the ice where they've overcurled on the inside and hung straight on the outside. So let's see if they've figured out a way to manage this spot on the ice.
Well, won't be able to. They'll end up just chipping that one in, and it's U.S. now an advantage.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you get a change of momentum.
So what do you guys think here? That 70 again? I feel like it might be a little faster, but okay. All right, nice little 75, 75, 80. Okay, that sounds good.
So as we listen to this team communicate here before they throw the rock, they're talking 75, 80. And Luke, when teams are using that, that is a split time or a short time, with which they're looking for 3.70 seconds from the back line to the hog line. And gives the shooter an idea of how fast they need to slide. And keeps your watch in play and gives you some input very early in the shot-making process.
Yeah, you hear a lot of numbers from them listening in, what they want to throw, what number do I need? And that's giving a split time, and that As long as you're not pushing or pulling back on the stone, it's a good measurement.
Yeah, and it's, you know, you still need to use all of the other information you've got. What you see, how fast you're moving as a sweeper, what spot on the ice, have you played this path before? There's a lot of information that comes into play. But that nice split time, that's a good piece of information, a good tool for the sweepers to use in order to judge the rocks correctly. Now, China here with this hit in the back, they are conceding a deuce. This rock needs to curl a bit. And she knocks it out.
So it gives an open draw for 2. And looks like deuces are wild right now.
Right, it looks like that open draw for the second point is the theme of this game so far. It's happened in, this is the 3rd end in a row. So Allison Pottinger, skip for the United States. We're getting a good look at this beautiful venue and all the way down the sheet here. We'll get to throw the same shot she just threw for her second point.
That's the intern. It's on the middle, towards the middle of the ice. Of course, the fans are close. The boards are right there, so we'll keep an eye throughout the game on that. Would be the outside going away if there is any sort of a frost buildup or anything such as that. But
yep.
That time looks like it should be spot on.
Should be right to the tee line.
Well, touches her own, and there it is, another deuce. So 4-2. USA on top. Taking on China, it's draw 2 from the 2014 Ford World Women's Curling Championship.
I just had the dumbest release. I don't even know what the hell is going on.
I do think, though, it is coming off the line. This side, not that side. Doesn't go towards the wall very much, but yeah. I do think it comes here towards sheet C.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit more.
But you know, it shouldn't, so don't.
Oh, no.
Well, the last stone again, 3rd end. It was Allison Pottinger. Made a nice draw on her first. Same thing with her second. And just cozy this one in to the 4-foot. Allison Pottinger has experience, but also experience in this building. She's been here before, back when it was hosted in 1999.
Yeah, she and her team from the United States took home the silver medal from that World Championships.
Took on Elizabeth Gustafsson.
One of the greats of the game. Elizabeth Gustafsson from Sweden has won 4 times, I believe. She is the only skip to win 4 Women's World Championships.
You are correct. Let's look at the list. The 4-time winners. It's her team.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Gustafsson, Louise Marmont, Katarina Nyberg, and Elizabeth Persson.
Yes, so great team.
Well, welcome everyone inside Harbor Station. You're watching live coverage of the Ford World Women's Curling Championship. Luke Coley with 2-time Olympian and world champion Anne Swisshelm. As we see a 4-2 game. USA leading China.
China with the hammer here in the 4th end. The U.S. will get to throw first, and they'll dictate the play by trying to put this rock right in the rings.
Every bit. Come on, all the way. Yep, keep coming. 13, 15, come on, 15, 6. Gotta keep coming. A little more. Right in. There you go. Good work, Tab. Good job. Good sweep, girls.
So the first stone into the top of the rings, we've seen a lot of stones. Those hit and roll outs. We've said that a lot. top of the 12-foot. Thought China might try and go a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
This is a very defensive shot early in the end.
Yeah, it is. And Shotong here will be trying to hit and stick, and it looks like she's just over curled a bit. They're getting tricked by a couple of spots on the ice here. So this gives a chance for the United States team to improve the position of that rock that's just half in the top 8-foot. Lead Tabitha Peterson is going to be asked to tap her own stone up and put it into the 4-foot.
We just have to. Yep. Let's go around. Yep. 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 Her. Yep. Whoa. Okay.
Well, they decide because it's not curling to go around it, and it goes to the back of the button.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect weight for the tap. Just did not curl enough. So the lead from China will be asked to play a run-back double, I believe, here.
Yeah, virtually the same shot. Hit it on the nose, you're going to be pretty close.
Yep. She's thrown a little more weight on this one. And that's a nice shot. It took the rock off the button. She's in front of the rings. It's always nice when you get a second opportunity to throw the shot you missed, and to throw it well and execute.
Natalie Nicholson had that in the first end.
Yeah, she did.
Run back, and now looking to hit, avoid the jam, little roll. Very nicely done to sit 2 for Team USA. This team out of St. Paul Curling Club.
So this situation here for China, there's a couple of options. So they've switched to the draw here for their second, Jinli Lui. And she's going to be asked to play this out-turn draw and use the United States rocks as their defense. So she's going to ask to hide behind one and use the other one to hold her into the rings. She's just a little light on this shot.
Do you find it interesting, the switch in strategy, go from going, you hit it early defensively, and now after a couple misses you go offensive to try and use them, and now facing 2?
Yeah, you know, I think this Chinese skip is trying to sense her opportunities, right? She's trying to feel it out, trying to make choices. That one, I actually liked the hit there on the top. It's early in the end. You would essentially create a corner guard with your own stone. But regardless of the call, it needs to be, you know, fully executed. And so, and with the staggered rocks like that, it gives the United States a chance to put a rock underneath and makes the run back tough.
I think it's trying to get rid of that stagger and try and keep some stones around. Is it just trying to hit and try and roll both the yellows in?
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. So she doesn't need to play a ton of weight at this. They just need to play a nice control takeout, create some separation between the yellow rocks and the top of the rings.
Well, now they want that one to sit down, trying to coerce that stone to listen, and it'll slide off to the side. I think more weight than what was needed to stick around, but the shot was executed to get rid of it. We'll jump over third end, Germany and Switzerland. Megan Lehman, her final shot. Of course, Gave up the steal in the second. The draw coming up well short. Trying to get on the board here. She needs to draw. Looks like full 8-foot or better.
Yeah, in the front end of Nicole Muskowitz and Stella Heiss sweeping really well and putting that rock into perfect scoring position.
And they get their one, so on the board is Germany, their first score of the event. They're down 3-1 after 3.
Better girl, that's fine, Nick. Not enough room.
Yeah, that would have been 8.
我觉得打定打 double 就行嘛。打定就行吧。
So they ended up, U.S. tapped. I mean, you heard Allison saying not enough broom.
Yeah, so just over curled on them here. I think they were trying to come around that
The yellow one and maybe get to their own stone again. And
yeah, and just keep shrinking the scoring area for Team China. But with that, China now has a fantastic opportunity with a double takeout or even just a simple takeout to move from a defensive position here. And
well, so now the U.S. has got to try and make a hit and bunch their stones up.
yeah.
Give me a 10.
Both sides have had opportunities to sort of take each end and run with it, and then they sort of let the other team off the hook and come back.
Yeah, but as we know, you really need to make your last 2 shots. And that's what we've seen in this game when one of the other skips has had a half shot or a miss. It's generated the deuce opportunity. So
Good work.
Well, so the nose hit to lie 2. China does have that third counter. Their stone side of the 12-foot.
So when the sweepers are right off on this one, I think you'd really like
这边可能还是直，
不是，他出手感觉要往上带。
力量还可以。
you'd like situations when your team is playing that all 4 players are playing every shot. So you'd like to activate your sweepers. You know, you want to let them play. So
Can I?
No, we just nose it, double 'em.
hopefully these teams settle in and figure out
Work, right?
they're hitting and rolling out quite a bit on both sides here.
That's going to be good, isn't it? That's easier than trying to...
Yeah, or if it over curls, we can do that.
I think it's easier to throw just the nose double than it is to throw that hit and kind of stick on that inside
so.
one. You know, because it's
Doubles
gonna
there. The
go
question
and
is
then we're
that
gonna roll
will
over
it kick
close
it
to
towards
ours
that
and
one
double,
in the
so
back of the 4-foot, or
normal
can they?
I think the angles are in the favor for the U.S. on this shot.
Even if it does
What
come
they
up and
talked
we hit and
about
roll in the rings,
was,
that's okay too.
as Allison's going through their options, the preferred shot is the nose hit double.
9.
But with that, I mean, you know,
Hard! Yes! Hard! Hard!
the spot on the ice has been.
Yeah, everyone's been caught on this one a little bit. And they'll hit and roll out.
Not getting the broom in the right spot. Sorry.
So you
Just
hear
not
it
the
from
right
the, you know, from the skip herself
I
that
didn't cheat it weight-wise again. and it's
just
still-
not putting the broom in the right spot. So this sheet is fooling.
Yeah, they're getting both sides are getting caught. Just it's not the throw, not the delivery. It's just
no,
a matter of
yeah.
figuring out where they need to put that broom.
Yeah, that looked like a nice throw. It was good weight. So now with that half shot by Team USA, China's got their chance to generate a deuce again.
And it's Skip Rocks now.
Yeah, it's Skip Rocks. So very similar story here, end to end. So Sadia Louis will play a counterclockwise rotation or an out-turn shot. Takeout on a rock in the back 4-foot to put quite a bit of pressure on Team USA.
Well, wants to stick around, but lots of weight on the hit. We'll roll out.
Yeah, and that could be just some adrenaline. That was just a little too much weight for that shot. She had to stick around in the rings. So with that rollout, it gives Allison Pottinger from the United States a chance to hit and stick.
We're not entirely positive. My first one is maybe just a smidge curly. Because that last one was a little strange. We're throwing almost the same. That nice firm 9.
So, Ann, that you're talking times again, that 9, 9.5.
That is a time from hog to hog, and that's the speed of the rock. So that's how fast the rock is traveling between the hog lines. And the lower that number is, the faster they're throwing it.
Well, get the hit and stick, and again, you hear the lots of communication. It's all about passing on. Did you throw it? Did you throw it well? Did you put the broom in the right spot? What weight? Will always be the discussion. And
yeah, and then this is a challenging position for Louis, the skip from China. She has the option to play the hit and try and hold her shooter, or draw and touch the 8-foot. This is a broom for both those shots. So I don't know what she's throwing.
I'm going to go where the third is standing, that it's going to be the hit.
Yeah.
Because it's in front of that rock. I think if it was a draw, it might be behind it.
Yep. And
not wrong.
It's the draw.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Well,
it just goes to show there's lots of style points here in curling.
all 4 of them out there to look at it. But doesn't look like it needed it right to the 4-foot.
Great team shot for their score of 1 in the 4th end.
So the first single we see, and it goes to China, a 4-3 lead, and the U.S. gets the hammer to the 5th end.
跟你们说了，我击打不大好。
他那边稍微顶一点，就是你正常。
我觉得这个中场这边的点，我觉得不太掉线，因为刚才我打的那个球，我觉得擦边，还有点往中线这边飘，我觉得也不太掉线。
就这整面这面都不太下线。
Well, as we have a chance, we'll take a look. Sweden, Korea, you see those crooked numbers up there for Sweden, a 2 and a 5. 5 stolen in the second. And Sweden, looks like they have a couple in there and to make a double.
Korean skip has got to throw a double for her second point.
Well, get 1, make that double, score 2. That's how you get on the board with a deuce in the third, 7-2. Still an uphill battle for those Korean girls in 2 of the 3 Olympic teams taking part in this year's Ford World Women's Curling Championship. The other one being Russia. We did see Korea mount a comeback down 5 earlier today.
Yeah, they scored 9 unanswered points, I believe. Is that
against
correct?
Denmark. They did. That was correct. But a little difference. Denmark against the Olympic silver and world silver medalist in Team Sweden.
Yeah, one of the most experienced teams in the field, Margrethe Sigfridsson and her team from Sweden. But again, if you're going to get down, might as well do it early and give yourself some time to come back. So we'll keep checking in on Team Korea and their attempt at a major comeback versus Team Sweden. Back to our featured game.
Wait only, girls. Your line's
Center
good.
line guard and Tabitha Peterson.
Okay.
In turn come around.
Keep her
So
coming.
this is 3 for 3 in this situation.
We have seen a trend. I talked earlier
Keep
about
coming, girls. Never stop.
them
Keep
being
coming.
next to the
Keep coming
fans
all
on
the
the
way, all the way, all the way,
outturn
all the way.
side going
Everything,
away from
everything.
us
Keep coming. A little more,
in the
little more.
odd ends.
Keep coming all the way.
Seems
all
to be
the
the
way.
trend. They want to stay on the inside of this sheet.
Yeah, they're definitely keeping the play towards the sheet C side of
Be the left side of your screen there, where you see the Chinese skip Sedia Louis playing that in turn a lot, both sides.
yes.
上面点了一点儿，6、7，下线，5、6，我4、5。6、7动吗？3，站位了，站位了，站位也得尽量往里边点儿。4区，加油踩一踩4区，站上也行。对，彤彤啊，7、8，力量大一点。我感觉比上面给的挺大呢。你给。
Okay. Line's good. Okay. We got room.
So USA with the hammer here in this fifth end of play on our feature game between the United States and China. Leads second stone here for USA. She's gonna play a
All the way back. Right
in-turn
out of the
come
floor now.
around.
Keep her moving. Keep her moving. Yep. Keep her coming. Keep her coming. A little more. A little more. A little more. A little more.
She comes up just a
fine,
little
Tab.
deep in the
Very
back
good.
forefoot. And this gives China a chance to
4.5。
bury a rock underneath all three of those center line guards.
Well, over to sheet B, Latvia, Russia, 5-1. Russia leading. They have the hammer, looking to strike again. Anna Sidorova lost their first game earlier today to Team Canada.
Yeah.
Trying to rebound and will make the hit. Let her roll in. Easy, simple shot for the Russian skip to get a deuce and a 7-1 lead. A good bounce back game for them against Latvia, who surprised Scotland earlier today.
Yeah, it's Latvia's third appearance at a World Championships, I believe, maybe fourth, and they showed that they're getting some experience and took the young Scottish team in the opening draw.
This guy's more the problem, isn't he?
And the second from Team China made an outstanding shot to bury a rock directly behind all of the cover in front of the rings and really put the pressure on the U.S. team to clear those rocks out of play.
Whoa! 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 Okay. Good job. Nice shot.
So just
Yeah,
a
I just-
straight peel of the high
Good.
one.
Good job.
Yeah, and I really like this call by the Chinese skip. She recognizes an opportunity with those staggered guards that her second gets to play the same exact shot she just threw, and they can be shot 1 and 2, and it's going to take a couple of rocks to get rid of them. This one looks like it's a little on the outside.
The one thing we did see and have seen in this one is they do finish late for the curl that they get. This one trying to make its move, but just ran out of steam.
Yeah, it was a really good shot, though. I don't know how much the U.S. can see of that rock. Allison looks like she can see most of it, so she is going to try and play the double on this.
She doesn't mind losing that back red at all in this situation.
No, that back red is causing them some trouble.
Wow, but
That's fine. Okay.
barely makes contact with that top one and just pushes it over, leaves it in play. Allows China to sink one
I know,
in a better position.
Yeah, they get to play the same shot and hopefully have a little bit better handle on how the ice is going to move here. This is the 4th shot here in a row, essentially making this
Yeah,
the
Ray
same
Wang,
shot.
she gets a great opportunity to try and weld one top button. Ray Wang, 19 years of age. But this one well out there.
Yeah, this one's just got a little too much weight. They need to make sure it's back, and it is back on its own. So, but now this creates a situation where the U.S. team's got to make a choice. Are they going to open up the front, or are they going to try and come into the rings?
Stay 7, just a draw.
So as you said, change gears, go to the freeze of that, of the one on the button. The other one was peel that top yellow.
Yeah, you know, the angles aren't great on that.
Hang on.
You'd likely be looking at 4 Chinese stones after that if you make that shot.
All on its own. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. You got a 9 still? 9. Yep. Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay.
Well, as rocks go down a singular path, rock after rock with sweeping, the path gets a little bit faster. And I think that's one of the things these teams might be experiencing here is all of a sudden 5, 6 rocks down that in-turn draw path. And it's picking up pace with every stone. And with that rock by the 3rd for the United States slipping behind the tee line, it gives China the 3rd chance in a row to get one top 4 buried under cover. And they sweep right away, right at release. She might have been a little narrow. And this is a great shot. Frozen, fully buried under cover with backing. And you can tell by the smiles on their face that they're really happy with that outcome.
Absolutely.
That was well called. They managed the sweep right away. They held the line early, and then they waited for the curl. They knew it had enough weight. That was just a great team shot right there.
Yeah, we got you a good look. Just gets by the front, and now you don't really have a choice but to peel the front. And gonna take a couple more still to get rid. They could hit the red, try and roll in front. They could throw just a straight corner freeze on it, put a guard up. Lots of options now.
Yeah, there's a lot of options for both teams, right? I mean, Team China is trying to figure out how not to mess up this great situation. Team USA is trying to figure out how to keep the angles in their favor. And you've heard me say this before, Luke, but I'm going to say it again. You don't need to be shot until the last shot. And
you heard it here first. And Swissell.
It is, you're going to probably hear it again. Probably, I can't help but say it. It is. So I think Team China has decided to put a rock in front of these stones. Maybe top 12, biting the 8-foot. lots of communication from the Chinese team as they're trying to perfectly place this rock. A little half undercover.
That really curled on them. I thought they were going to stop in a pretty good spot, but it overcurls just a little bit and leaves. Probably see just all of that stone on the button.
So, seeing as we're not worried about everything going away, because it's not gonna, do you want to throw?
Yeah, the Chinese team, I think, would like to have shown just a little bit more of their skip's first rock there that's in the top of the forefoot. It just overcurled a hair. That could have been weight. That could have been a little bit of line, combination of both.
I don't think so.
This is still a really tough shot for Allison. She is trying to figure out a way to score one at this point and keep a 2-point lead.
She realizes she can't get rid of it all and says there's no point in throwing weight that you can't control. And bring the weight down, bring sweeping into it.
Yeah. And if Allison can get just to the nose and maybe even just a hair to the inside of the nose of this rock, she's got a chance.
Yeah, they're so tight, though, I can't throw hack or board. I have to throw weight to move this guy off. We have to throw normal, I think.
And the other problem is those red stones back beyond the tee line that are hurting them.
Yeah, those red stones are holding those yellow stones in the rings. Allison realizes that she cannot get rid of those yellow stones, both of them. One may spin out.
Do you like that scenario where she goes down, talks with her front end, and then goes back down to take another look?
Well, I think what you want to do is make sure everyone is on the same page for your shot. What you don't want to do is have any doubt in your mind before you throw a shot. You want everyone to be fully committed. So I think it was very respectful of Allison to consider her front end's input. And I think it was wise for her to go back and take a look so that she didn't have any doubt in her mind before she threw.
While trying to get to the nose, that was the important thing. Just rolls off a smidge, but depends what China does if it's good or not.
Yeah.
It was coming, eh?
It was. We just need another foot.
Just a little more.
So China has a chance to just move that red stone and sit on top of it. There's a couple of options for Team China here.
我就正常粘的力量，粘个侧脚不就行吗？
粘到这儿吗？
对，粘到那儿，然后你要看力量够的话，稍微往后磕一点那就更好。
你要干啥呀？
粘那儿，粘在那块儿，然后你要看路线可以的话，稍微轻磕一点过来。那不就咱们不就俩了？
So we see the options. Team China sees all of the options, and I think I'd really like her to move that red rock off the forefoot, and force the other team to look at 3 stones in a staggered position, making...
Where the broom is right now, if you could ever roll to just half underneath of that other one.
Yeah, it would really force a tough shot for the skip from the United States with her hammer.
我觉得就往这块投一个，路线好的话就往后稍微磕一点。
打这个角的话，它有相关球吗？你就这个球磕一点。
不是你打这个角头没了吗？不就，人打掉那个不一样吗？这个你还相关，对不对？你就往这块粘一个，然后它往后轻磕一点都可以，对吧？
这点吧，行吗？
你可以点的往外放一点。
更磕点吗？
Looks like out here playing a draw, a quiet weight.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they're trying to move that stone, that red stone. I think they're trying to sit either nuzzled up next to it or right in front of it. But because that's too much ice for this spot with any kind of back house weight, which is what you would need. Yeah, this has to be a draw of some sort.
I didn't mind a back line, but
yeah,
they weighed all their options, and
right.
it's all about the execution here now.
Well, we've been fooled before. This looks like a little more weight. This looks like back line, but
has to get close to the center line. They were trying to move it, just lots of ice, and weight wasn't bad.
No, the weight was good to move that stone.
Now the U.S.
But sometimes there's easier ways to make shots, and I think playing a hair more weight with tighter ice might have been an easier way to make that shot.
So with a little bit more weight. So for me, right here probably gets me right to the tee line, huh?
That gives you some space.
Okay.
So the United States is now shot 1 after that rock. So Allison Pottinger's skip needs, looks like a little chunk of the button for her
Straight
second
draw.
point.
Let her know where you're at, because if you're a wee bit heavier in 8, you can kiss off that yellow up top.
So right now that red
use
stone
the center
belongs
line
to the
your
U.S.
benefit,
is shot.
You can also go through there to that back yellow if you need to. 85? 85, 90? Okay.
So with the hammer shot for the 5th end away,
Just clean. Just clean. Got a curl.
the U.S. team is trying to land this stone right on the button for their second point.
You can go if you need to.
It has a tight port to get to it. Has to have the right weight. Here, Peterson, Nicholson. Got to hold it past that top yellow, and they won't get by. They'll chip off it, and it will be just 1 for the U.S., so China gets away with it.
Just a little more weight, eh?
1 for the U.S., and it is a 5-3 lead
That might give you like a
heading
true
to the
7.
5th end break.
You can probably.
And during the 5th end break, we like to do some of the highlights. And this is the second end, last stone for Chinese skip, Sedia Lui, who played a nice hit and stick for her second point to tie the game, 2-2. And in the 3rd end,
Right in there.
Allison Pottinger, skip for the United States, had an open in-turn draw for her second point, which she executed for a 4-2 lead
I do think though.
heading into the 4th end. Team China, with their hammer, faced 2 U.S. stones in scoring position. She needed a piece of the 8-foot for her single point, and it was a well-executed draw, pulling to within 1 of the United States going into the 5th end. The United States pulled out a single point in the 5th end to take a 5-3 lead going into the 5th end break. And we have an update from Sheet C. Team Sweden with the hammer shot in the 4th end. Sweden leading 7-2. With this last stone, Maria Pritz from Sweden needs to just touch the scoring position in the rings for a score and it's a big score with this tick and roll on of 5 points to take a 12-2 lead over Team Korea playing the 5th end. And we get update on the scores from Sheet C. Switzerland leading Germany 4-1 after the 5th end. Russia with a commanding lead after 5, 10-1 over Latvia. And playing the 5th, Sweden up 12-2.
Just tight on top of it, or do I mean? Because we're only up by 2. We don't have to come like right to it. We can throw a 3, and if you slide to a 4, that's no big deal. Are we comfortable with that?
I just never been doing good with kind of both them or like two.
Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure we're like talking about it a bit so we know what to expect.
I mean, the league's made a lot of choice. She's come on there.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we probably are better off being a
I
four.
get bad, but I
So they really have to go.
And remember, your clock starts right away after the minute, right?
OK，呀，没事，咱后手推到。
因为咱现在打的都还行，然后下半场咱再接再厉呗。
还是你把那个击打的力量要调小一点，
尽量我就不打。
让扫兵的人来给你
他足球力量好，
来，1、2、3，
加！
我就尽量就别打了，今天不适宜击打。
So we get a chance to take a look at some of the statistics after 5 ends in the USA-China matchup. Percentages are in USA's favor, as we might imagine from the scoreboard. But the real difference here is on the hits. The U.S. at 83% and China at 66%. That difference of those hit and rollouts that we saw in the early ends from China. And if they want to get back those 2 points, they're going to need to put some rocks in play and make sure theirs stick around when they play the hits.
Hang on a wee bit. Nice little 5. Line's really good. Just all the way for weight.
Well, the U.S. doesn't get that extra point, but they still they get their 2-point lead back. 5 ends remaining.
15-3.
I'm sure if they were told you had a 2-point lead heading to the 5th end break,
Yep, a wee bit.
probably
Yep,
take
yep,
it. There's a
yep.
look at the
Nice
line
one,
score
yep.
here. This one.
Good work.
First 3 were all skip deuces, generated with open draws, and trading singles. And China has the hammer. They'll try and tie things up. A deuce here, and they're in a good position for this game.
Yeah, and they do have the hammer coming home in the home end here, so that is a significant advantage in the second half of the game. This is the first time all game we've seen a corner guard from either team called. So this is a great chance for China to generate some offense.
Shotong Shea at 70%, and it's the corner guard to the board side, to the right side in your screen, so you'll see the seats just on your picture on the wide side. Won't probably see a lot of outside in around that corner.
No, that has not been played at all. Tabitha Peterson playing 93% this game. She is putting almost all the stones exactly where requested of her.
Yeah, I think just one I remember in that last end that went back.
Yeah,
back.
just a little deep.
All on its own. All on its own. All on its own. All on its own. Atta girl, nice job.
So a little tap brings 2 into the rings. And you're familiar with this team. They get the 2-point lead last half. Are they going to get into the peel game, get rid of corners, keep putting their first 2 into the house?
Yeah, they're not going to leave anything around for China to use. With that, China has an opportunity here to get to their corner guard. They are choosing, there's a couple of ways they can do it. They can draw there, or they can hit and roll there, and they've decided to hit and roll there. And you know, I'd like to see them draw. If they do not stick around here, I'm pretty sure that Allison will step up and peel that corner guard.
I don't think it's gonna
Like
go
you're telling her what to do.
They cannot hear me out there, people. But that's what I would do if I had a 2-point lead at this point in the game. I would most definitely remove that corner guard.
See the 90% for Natalie Nicholson.
And with that hit, and she stays, and she actually rolls for a corner on the other side. I am thrilled that the Chinese team is going to use that corner guard and put a draw underneath there, try and generate their 2 points.
Didn't waste any time. Put the broom down and go after it. You see 78% for Jinli Liu.
路线 OK， 力量。我看力量。路线没问题，确保力量。也不用下线的，顶线。踩呀。顶线。顶线。顶线。
So one of the things that's really nice about this new look team from China is their communication. It is steady. It is all the way down the sheet. It is not panicky. It's nice to see. And that was a great draw underneath that corner guard.
Well, in top part of the house, so that forces Nicholson to go after that guard.
You gotta go, yep. All the way. Let it go on that, good job.
Well, makes the long roll to get that one out.
Yeah.
And China happy to try and set up their 2.
They're going to throw a corner guard back up on top of that. And I think that's a great choice. We're very early in the end, still in the first half of rocks. It's only the 4th rock for Team China in this 6th end.
Well, it's tighter. It's right on the wheel of the Ford Fusion there. Almost gives a free run at this run back.
Yeah, now this changes the call. Instead of the straight peel, this will be the run back.
63 for Nicole, lower than she would like coming into the second half of the game. And that'll help roll it into the rings as well, and very nice.
Yeah, that was a well-executed shot. The angles were in their favor for that nice hit and roll, and now they sit on top of their own stone.
Yeah, it lined up nicely to make that shot. Still have to go out and execute it.
Yeah, and that was well thrown by Nicole Jornstad.
Right into the top of the rings. So with a little bit of a stagger, are they going around everything to the back part of the rings?
Yeah, I'm not sure. They may be trying to corner freeze on the rock and the top of the forefoot.
I'll get by the top one.
No, just ticked a little bit. I think they were playing the tap with that weight.
Well, it sits for second shot. So we look over Switzerland, Germany. 5th end. Megan Lehman. Her final shot. This team from Germany. Germany failing to qualify for the Olympics, and here the World Championship. Not going to play the hit and stick, get her 1, and there it is. So 2 singles for Germany. They're down 4-2, but Switzerland gets the hammer back. Benia Felcher and her squad will have it into the 6th end over on sheet A.
Just clean. Yep. And a girl, good job.
So they peel that out. Don't want to stick around there?
No, I don't think you want to be in the back of the rings. Having your rocks on top of the tee line in front of the house really forces the other team to deal with you. If there's something in the back of the rings, they may be tempted to play the draw around and use your rocks against you. And I think we're going to see this same shot that they called the last time, and a little bit better line, a little bit more ice here, and Looks like a little more weight on this one than the last one. So there it goes. It starts to curl.
Needs to catch a piece of that red one.
Yeah,
Just
that
more
was
weight.
just a hair more weight there, and I think they made an ice adjustment as well, and that's a tough combination. So now the USA gets a choice. I think they would.
I don't mind that. If it comes here, I like being, I like steering to the frosty side.
If line's good, we can always sweep it to the free.
So you
That's
just
more
heard
for me
the
than what
skip
I
from the
give everybody
United
else,
States
but I
say,
think that's right.
we'll keep the play in the rings, and we'll force them to the frosty side of the ice, which is the side, Luke, you've been talking about. That's along the side where all the great fans of this game are sitting. There is potential in an arena that those outside sheets, because of the heat coming off the fans, we want those fans there, but we have there may be a small tendency to create a little bit of frost on the outside sheet of ice. But and as this is the first day of play, first time we've had crowds and full games being played here, this beautiful venue.
Definitely change when you get all 4 sheets in play. You get fans in the seats, and just different airflows within the building cause different ice conditions.
Yeah, and that's something that all the teams need to adjust to. And one of the things I know about this game is the team that adjusts to the ice conditions fastest and the rocks fastest is going to be the team that leaves this this championship with a gold medal.
Well, just that little rub off the top one doesn't end up as a terrible, because it's real tough to draw around, and we cut over and we see handshakes. Our first final of draw 2. Russia bounces back, so they pick up the victory there at 1-1 with a 10-2 win over Latvia, who drops to 1-1.
Yeah, so that's a good split day for Latvia, though. That's a good win against Scotland earlier today, and
Latvia will take on Korea tomorrow afternoon, while Russia gets Sweden. So it doesn't get easier for Russia. They get Canada draw 1. And then Sweden in draw. It'll be draw 4, but their third game.
So China is trying to figure out a way to deal with this shot here. There's a couple of ways. They could play lighter weight and try and get through that port, but that spot has proved tricky for them. Their third wrecked on the first one and came up, a little heavy on the second one. It ran straighter on them. So they're just going to try and navigate this port. We said, from China, playing 60%, very similar to the statistics from the U.S. skip.
Well, they get the top one roll over to the side.
So now this is an interesting position. This has actually forced the U.S. team to the frosty side of the ice with that roll. So they did play a shot here, I believe, in the second end of the game. So they should have a good idea where to set the target down.
Yeah, I just haven't seen a lot go through this path.
Yeah, and almost nothing has been played in the last little while over here. So
if you think it is frosty, do you throw more weight than go through? What exactly, when frost builds up, what can it do to the stone?
I think it can just make it curl a little bit more, a little faster. Weight or momentum may come off the stone and in a more rapid manner. So now we've got the Chinese skip has to touch a large part of the forefoot, be half into the forefoot to take her single point here. This is her last shot in the 6th end.
So is going with this in turn. Looks like it could go with the out turn a little bit wider, but
yeah,
this gives you a truer path to get to the button.
Yeah, and it makes your scoring area a little bit larger by playing it this way. So this is really all the sweeper's job. They need to split the tee line.
Well, this one needs to get going to get to the rings. Got to outcount that top one. And it's over curling and will come up short. Was it a case of the frost? Not sure, but it's gonna be that steal of 3. So the first steal comes in a big number. 3 for the USA. And they now jump ahead by 5 after 6 ends of play.
I know. I was like, okay, I thought they were gone.
Oh, yeah.
So like, let's be mindful of how the ice might change on that side.
They
And
might
also
after
still
this
playing.
end, so we'll have to keep track of it. So Tabs first is going to come in.
And the pivotal shot in the 6th end, the hammerstone from the skip from China.
Thought I saw an indication from one of the sweepers that the weight was up.
Yeah,
right away.
I think they thought it was heavy. But this is one of those situations where you have to live it to learn it. For the thrower, the sweeper, and the line caller in this situation. It was a tough spot to throw a draw. No one had thrown a draw there since actually the draw for hammer by Team China before the game even started. So I think they were confident with that path, but the problem was that not having played any rocks down it, you couldn't be entirely sure what weight you needed to throw. And the sweepers hadn't seen anything in that path, so they weren't sure what it was supposed to look like. So it's a tough situation, and now they're going to have to really buckle down to try and generate a comeback. But again, we saw a miraculous comeback by Team Korea in their game against Team Denmark in the earlier draw today.
Well, long way back, but they'll keep plugging away. It's a long week. Can't let one game, one shot deter you from doing what you need to do.
Right, and for both teams, when this first draw of the World Championships, it's whether you win or lose, there's 10 more games to be played in this round robin. And you need to take every opportunity you're given to learn as much as you can about how to make shots here. So China's going to generate some offense. They're putting corner guards into play.
Yeah, don't have a lot of option. Need to put the corners, try and draw behind. Something to use.
Yeah, it's so frosty. It's like, yeesh.
It's interesting hearing that out of Allison's mouth. She wasn't the one that came up with the draw short that gave her the steal.
Yeah.
But she recognizes it and played that way because you can. Shows she's picking up on those things and trying to use it to her advantage.
Yeah, well, again, both teams need to learn as much as they can about this, about playing here. They've got other games that they'll play on this sheet. They will. They'll need to make shots out there. And
USA plays 2 more games over on sheet D, but not till Tuesday, and then again on Wednesday.
Yeah, so the U.S. has elected to throw their second rock through the rings to keep very little granite in play. They saw several situations already where Team China has used the U.S. rocks against them. And so they've used the U.S. rocks to Team China's benefit. And Team USA is going to do everything they can not to let that happen in these last 4 ends of the game.
So the 2 corners will go out for Chinese side.
And one of the things I'd love to talk about here is a little bit the sweeping. You've got 2 unique things happening between these teams regarding sweeping. Team China uses performance heads, both the same type of head, but they're sweeping on sliders. Both of their sweepers are sweeping on their sliders. Now, Team USA, you'll see, uses, they don't sweep on sliders, but they're using 2 different types of heads. One is a hair head, and one is
the synthetic
head.
And the synthetic, they break down the pebble a little bit while the hair will get into the frost.
Yeah, the hair will move the frost a little bit more, and that may be why Team USA has decided to use that, because they anticipated that there might be some here. I think on a regular basis, this team from the United States uses 1 hairbrush and 1 synthetic brush. So I don't think that is an unusual choice, regardless of the ice conditions. So this is a great shot of watching the Chinese team sweep on their sliders.
Well, the corner guard out. It is higher, so again, another peel to see if they can maybe try and kick it over and get the other one.
Yeah, I mean, Team USA moved the other one, but their shooters stayed there for a corner guard. So, and this is a great shot. You can see that synthetic head closest to the rock and the hair head there.
And they will touch that other one and get the double peel, the one that was guarding the outside of the, beyond the rings on the wide side. So it is the U.S. lying 1 here, an 8-3 lead. As you see the hair broom there. That's cut, is tapered to try and keep the frost from getting onto the running path of the stone.
Yeah, and as far as I can tell, looking around the rink, Team USA is the only team out there using a hair head at this point. So again, that could be preference, that could be ice conditions, could be a combination of both. But I love talking about the impact sweeping has on the game. Sweepers
you were a front end player, weren't you?
I was pretty much a lifelong front end player, and I took great pride in sweeping. Sweeping can make a good shot great. It can make a bad shot acceptable. It can also make a fantastic shot awful. The sweepers have to be, I used to think the sweepers had to be almost better than the thrower, but it's definitely all 4 of you need to be executing at a very high level. And with that, Nicole Jornstad peels that rock out. I think she would have liked to have rolled all the way out of play. But now you've got a situation where there's some rocks in play all of a sudden. They're all Team USA rocks, but Team China is happy just to see the rocks out there. It's going to be the way they generate some scores of multiple points here.
Well, it's one thing, it's something a lot of people said with the other Chinese team, the World Championship squad of Bingyi Wang, that they just need to go and experience the strategy, the circumstances, and this young team, as much as it's painful and it can be frustrating, have to learn through those experiences, and they're rubbing on the front, trying to draw around.
Yeah, you've got to live it to learn it. Say that a lot,
I think I need less. Don't you guys?
So I think here again, peel right out. Interesting thing in international play for Allison Pottinger, she has a losing record against Team China. She's 2-4 in her international play.
Good shot.
Well, she's going to want to tighten those statistics with some real good execution from here on out for these last 4 ends. And Team China is going to try and do some rock placement and freeze to the second count shot right now.
Try and put this right on the corner of it.
Yeah. Looks like it's going to go behind.
Well, pass it now. Will it stop and stay in the house? That's the key. It will not. Goes right by, and very small area they were trying to get to, and that can happen.
Yeah, this creates a shift for Team USA, and this is actually, in my mind, a bit of a dangerous shift. She's about to put another rock on top of the, in the rings, in play.
Nice little 4 right in front of it. Time's okay.
So she really needs to set this rock directly in front of that rock on the forefoot, or China will freeze to it and hope to use that USA rock on the button to hold them in the rings.
Well, that one over curls on them.
Good job.
Yeah, by just a hair, and this that leaves a little bit of an opening for Team China. If they can recognize that just freezing there,
But it's just like enough.
will give them an opportunity to score 2 points here with their hammer. You still need to make all of your shots in order to do that.
Well, and handshakes on sheet C, right next door to our feature game. That is Sweden, their second win, so they move to 2-0 with a commanding 13-4 victory over Korea. So Korea drops that one, and they move to 1-1. Sweden will have just the lone game tomorrow in the afternoon, where they will take on Russia. The way the draw works, all the teams will play 3 games in the opening weekend.
So we're going to get a look at the ice speed here. So in the 7th end, playing a draw, we saw this spot a couple of times early. It was about 14.5, so this might be a little heavy. 14.5 seconds.
Well, if it had the line, little tap isn't the end of the world, but
yeah,
roll to where they do now is not optimal.
Yeah, and again, that was a shot you really wanted your sweepers to be involved in.
Right at me. Give me another inch. We don't need to be dumb.
So Team USA will just
it gets harder. She can't just straight draw. She's kind of got to move us a wee bit. Okay.
play hit and roll in, I think is what they just said.
Yeah, she's holding on to a 5-point lead, but at the same time doesn't want to give an easy shot to get their single point, or an easier one. Wants to still make it difficult on their opponent.
Yeah. When you don't have the last shot, you want to make the other team's last shot as difficult as possible. So this one seems to be running a little bit on her. So
just a little roll in. So lying 5.
Once it wasn't going to roll that way, I was thinking of getting out of there, making it a little bit less of a pocket. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
还有10秒力量，我感觉。
好，10秒。
啥时候他们营里有4个球？
10秒，这个点小不小的
不知
啊？
不觉中。
So I think Team China has elected that the easiest way to get to the button, well, they might be making a.
你按上把力量再磕一
I thought an
I think
interim
they're
draw
third.
down
Yeah.
to that one.
I think their third's having a change of heart here. The skip had called the out turn double, and the third has asked for the in turn draw to the button. So essentially the same shot she just played, a little less weight. She can come nuzzle right in there and score her single point.
So final stone, 7th end.
比上马量稍微大一点。
Celia Louis.
上马大。哦，底线。磕水这个。
And the stone travels down the ice. The sweepers are right off it. So we get a little cleaning. Line must be getting better.
哦，不行，力量大。小弟擦点头啊。哦。
Well, has to get that little bit of a roll in and won't, so it's going to be another point stolen. So 4 stolen points in the last 2 ends, as it is 9-3 now for the U.S. over China here in draw 2.
Show the peel. Good job. Oh yeah, it's like 100 minutes.
下把吧，就是咱
点起来小一点。
其实我寻思这个吧，正常击打咋的也打掉俩，因为那俩离得远，怎么的也是应该就是咱头能留下。
因为他那要是打太薄，我害怕刮这个直接就窜去了。
其实我觉得你就按第一个还是一样的力量，再来一个就行。
Then
You can wish,
you
can't you?
certainly can.
Natalie's like, I'm gonna pay for physio tonight. She's like, if I could buy shoes.
Well, welcome back to the Ford World Women's Curling Championship here inside Harbor Station, Lucoli, with 2-time Olympian and world champion Anne Swisshelm.
Hi, Luke. Yeah, here we are on our feature draw. It's Team USA versus Team China. This is the second draw from the World Championships here in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. And it is the first game for both of these teams here. And we've seen a very experienced USA team take control of this new, younger Chinese rink from Harbin, China.
They've capitalized on mistakes. When they've had opportunities, they've went out and they scored 2 deuces early. They got a force. Allison probably will tell you she probably should have got a deuce in the 5th end,
I'm still just
but then
fine.
comes back and played a smart, experienced and strategy-wise to get the steal of 3. Don't
Right.
play it to get the steal of 3, but she forced her opponent into
I'll keep
a
an eye on
path
the
that
hogs
hadn't
to
been
hogs.
thrown
That's a
probably
4-3-7
2
right there.
hours.
Right, for a good long period of time, and then in 7, they got the steal of 1 again by just really putting the pressure on Team China. And lead Cho Teng-Shea will be asked to throw another couple of corner guards here in the 8th end.
2-3-2，二区，上一擦一擦吧，我感觉力量有点小吧。
And for China, your mindset, you're down 6 with 3 ends remaining. Yes, it's a long way to go, but right now think, okay, let's get our deuce with the hammer.
Yeah, if you score 2 points and just kind of change the momentum, actually change the energy for yourself. You never know what can happen in this sport. We saw steals of multiple points in a row. Out there, we saw a steal of 5. tonight.
We have seen some big numbers out there, so we'll see as U.S. is going to throw their second lead stone away.
But it's not coming hard.
Yeah, the U.S. saw, I think, in that last end by putting too many rocks in play. You never want that. You don't want to do anything to help Team China come back into this game. And in particular, in this situation, the numbers sort of tell a story at the lead position, getting off to a good start in each end. 94%, Tabitha Peterson, Shotong Shea, 75 overall. Yeah, and I really think those numbers are for Shotong, those hit and rollouts that she had in the first half of the game. I think she's really played quite well here as for her first game at the World Championships. Yeah, you put a mid-70s up, but and as we talk about it. Yeah, as I say that, she slips that corner guard into the rings. That may just be a situation of overthinking that frost on that side of the sheet, or just overthrowing that a little bit. But it gives Team USA a chance to hit that rock out.
Whoa. Go your way, Tab. Go your way. That it, girl. Good shot.
The skip from China has asked her second to move that U.S. stone off the top of the forefoot, but not out of the rings. They want to keep that rock in play, so hopefully create some traffic behind the tee line for them to capitalize on.
Even just a straight freeze is okay. Just use what you have in the house, and pretty close. The problem is playing those freezes on stones in front of the tee line. They have to be bang on, or you get this result. Yeah, you need to be pretty precise, and both these seconds are having really great games. Didn't start off well for Natalie Nicholson, missing that run back, and then all of a sudden you're putting a mid-90s performance up. Yeah, I think that was maybe the only shot Natalie missed. Well, until now. And that's all it takes, just that one little miscue, chips that one over. I think you could hook another one behind the corner guard. Yeah, so we'll see clockwise rotating in turn off of your right-handed players. Draw behind the corner guard that's in front of the rings. Well, jump over and look at sheet A and Germany, Switzerland. One of two games remaining. We're bookending it right now, and Vania Felcher trying to get at that one. It looks like there's a chance here. A little short raise onto that red. Keep both around. And will it stick around? That's the question. It does hang around, gets her deuce. And after 7 ends, 6-2, Switzerland in control of that one on sheet A.
You can see half of this rock?
Yeah, I can see that much, so I don't think it's a big deal hitting that one.
So you like this? Come here. Okay.
So we've got a situation here where the team has several options. They can see both rocks. They can peel the corner guard, pull the play fully into the rings. They can hit the open rock. I think with the lead that they've got.
Right, but I think it moves nice into there, and you can see half of that back one.
So I guess I'm not too worried. You'd rather hit that one, see what she does? See if she's brave enough to go into the corner?
If we hit that, she has to make that perfect
burying and still outcount that one,
They're
right?
still going to go under no matter what we do. Even if we hit that one, they're still going under.
I agree, but if they do
So,
that,
so let's say they go under, and let's say they do make it perfect and bury it. We peel the corner, and then she hits that one, then we play a double here.
right?
I'm just saying that the corner brings 3 into play potentially. If we peel it,
So let's say we peel it. Aren't they going to hit our other one? Or are they just going to draw on top over here to still sit 3?
They wouldn't need to hit it. They wouldn't need
they
to
don't
hit
need to hit it.
They're
They're sitting 1 and 2 right
just
now.
going to space them out.
And then we try for a
Should we
double.
call a timeout then?
Sure, let's go timeout.
Okay, so here we've got a situation where a team cannot quite come to a full and complete understanding. This goes back to what we were saying earlier, that they all need to be on the same page.
Only for the walk,
The worst
25
thing for a team to do
seconds. But we're
is
still good
be
on
stuck
time, and I
between
think
2
it's
shots
okay.
and not committed to a single one. So they're going to ask their coach, Derek Brown, to come out and have a chat with them about what
They're 1
he
and 2.
thinks their best options are. So we'll listen in here.
What do you like?
I don't like feeling the corner.
Okay.
You play that for the roll. You know that they're going to have to move it. They knows it.
Okay.
We're good. If they ignore it, like you hit it and they go under again.
If they go under again, you know, then
If it's dead buried, we peel the corner, but if it's not, then we play it off with a little roll towards center.
I mean, you can play that to go. And if you don't, if you know it's fine, they're going to have to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we'll just play a nice 9.5. Yeah. Sound good? We're gonna play the out turn. Like how I had to think about that. Take your time.
This is good.
Well, Derek Brown, his little trip out there is his wise words.
Yeah, he provides the input to play the open shot. You know, this is a situation. You're up by 6 points. Play the shot you know. Allison just played this shot 2 ends ago, so they know where to set the ice. They should be able to execute this. And if they are counting, if they are first shot, Team China will have to deal with them at some point.
I think, especially with the scoreboard, see eye to eye with Derek Brown on his opinion that make the nose hit.
Yeah, the team was worried about creating a situation where China could score 3, and then that definitely changes what happens in the last 2 ends of the game. But if you make this hit and stick,
No. We don't want to go too far over there. Nice shot.
Well, it rolls over, sits 1.
I wasn't sure if it was going to come up.
No surprise, thought they China would do this. Draw behind the corner.
yeah, so now it comes down to rock placement. If China can put this rock in a really good spot, a really difficult spot for Team USA to deal with, they will peel that corner and open up the play.
And then it should give him a shot at a double later in the end. But China still need execute this, get this one in behind.
Yep.
Just top 12 foot, maybe biting the 8.
Yeah, and line is most important on this shot. Get it tucked under, just touching the rings. They need to be basically third count over the U.S. rock on the half on the 12.
And that one really broke. We'll see if it is out counting. It's going to be close. But might be able to see that. Looks like it is.
Yeah, it looks
third
like
shot.
it is. So
What kind of brim you want?
I got 2. Right here with a 10? I think so.
Okay. Let me know how it looks.
They first had to figure out. Nicole still had one more shot. Sometimes you was thinking about her last shot so much that forget that she gets to throw a second this end.
right, yeah, and that could be a function of the long talk that they had and the timeout, right?
And low numbers for both thirds in this game. Nicole hasn't thrown a lot of draws, so that's probably the reason that the number's so low for her.
Yeah, she's mostly played hits, but both, clearly they've struggled a little with finding draw weight. Nicole put a draw through the house, I believe, in the second end, and which helped set up the score of 2 for China in the second end.
Nice shot.
And very nice, able to get rid of it and have the shooter roll out.
Nice shot, Nick.
Didn't want to stick around and have a stone they could freeze to.
Playing half an inch to the guard. Good job.
So, yeah, we find out from that. China is second count there.
刘思佳，啊，
打甩不太可控，这边掉的。
但是
Now,
这边
with 3 rocks to play,
搂一个边儿，
搂一半儿，打就不往里边甩了，打往这边来了就。
行，先确保2分吧。
OK。10秒。哎，这球多半定了，我猜的。
so China elects to play the hit on shot stone in order to sit first and second count here. I think this might be a little bit of a missed opportunity.
没问题啊，打定了，没问题。OK，不死皮。
Yeah, you play the hit to try and lie 1-2 with last to third stones. You play the draw, you still have full access to that one on the button. But again, case of maybe wanting to lie shot stone too early in the end.
Right, maybe just a little too early. And
Spot that kind of runs a wee bit.
the United States, by that long discussion in their timeout, they were worried that China had a chance to score 3 points on them. And I think if China had chosen that stone there, that third, second stone, to come underneath the corner, they really would have put pressure on the United States. Here now we've got a situation where there's going to be a wide open takeout followed by a wide open takeout, quite likely. And China will be looking at scoring 2 points instead of potentially 3.
Good job.
So hit right on the nose. China is set up to get their 2.
Yes, they are. From what we can tell from the overhead camera, right?
Yes.
From what we can tell, it looks like China is second count.
我觉得就打在外边吧，大射在里边好吗？现在关键是这球得上去。
Hog line is like that.
看看吧，要有的话咱
行
就往里，边
看着点，确保打掉下去。
还是打这个点我还是给
Oh, there's a look at skip numbers
我这边甩来。
and
就能往
quite a discrepancy between the 2
往那边甩就往那边甩也可以啊。
and sort of leads to the 6-point lead by the U.S.
So Sedia Louis with a takeout.
10秒，6上来带9秒，10秒。
下不下？
下来了。下来了，那边甩也行。我定了，
打定了吧？
And a nice hit and stick there.
这边是挺标。
So does Allison take a run to try and hit and roll, get this one buried, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you wanted to be aggressive, you would try and roll under. I don't think with a 6-point lead that it's necessary, but there's no you know, if in particular, you know, if you don't mind giving up a deuce, which
It's okay, I didn't throw it quite as pretty, so just let it work.
Just clean. Nice 9.5. Nice shot. Shot.
Well, hit stick, top of the 8-foot.
You can never tell which side to go to. Work. Move it just a little bit.
Good job.
It was so funny. First thing I felt like
So China played the hit, get themselves in a position. The come rounds were good enough to ensure a chance at a deuce.
yeah, and shot selection on the third, second stone really dictated that this would be a maximum score of a deuce for them. They might have frozen on her last shot or tried something.
Might not have got the 2, but
Yeah.
they felt they didn't want to take that
So-
risk to go after 3. They want to try and get their deuce. And
Yeah, and
they're just going to double check that. I thought it was
Nicole's
2,
like,
but
I'm not even looking at you.
so, and
这个挺多呢。这个
you know, and I don't want to underestimate the value of knowing how to score a deuce.
God, no.
It'd be great to get 3, but in this game, the teams that can regularly generate a score of 2 win a lot of games. So for Team China to settle in, figure out how to score 2 points is a really, really valuable skill here. It'll serve them well in the games, the 10 more games that they're going to be playing in this round robin.
But right now they trail 9-5 after 8 ends of play. Well, as we get set for N9, we'll jump over to sheet A, and it is Germany-Switzerland, an all-European battle. Megan Lehmann lies 1 at the moment with her final stone. Has to put this in the 8-foot. That stone deep in the rings. Use some backing of Switzerland stones in order to try and generate their 2. This young German team trying to get 2 back, cut into that lead. And there's a look at the house, and big scrub, they're able to get their 2 points, and it is 6-4 with 2 ends remaining over on sheet A. So just 2 games remaining. Russia already defeating Latvia, and Sweden defeating Korea. We are 9-5. The US with the hammer and a 4-point advantage. Very comfortable lead in their first game of the 2014 Ford World Women's Curling Championship.
Yeah, with 2 ends to play, that's a pretty comfortable lead for an experienced team. This is when the play really comes into, the leads are pretty critical. Got a feeling that the U.S. will try the tick shot here, or the rub, in order to move that China rock off the center line. Now, because of the free guard zone rules, that rock cannot be fully removed from play, but it can be moved around in the field of play. So Tabitha Peterson.
And a lot of different teams throw a lot of different weight at it. Some throw a hit weight, some throw a back line, some throw just a draw weight.
Yeah, and some people play across the face. Some people play into it.
Well, and this one, will it go all the way out?
There's not enough room.
It will.
Yeah, so that will get put back to play.
And the U.S. stone gets pulled out, so that yellow stone back out in front.
So Team China will try and put another guard into play. They are going to do that by coming around the guard they've already got up. So they want this to be just tight to the rings. This looks like this might slip in, but the good thing is that it slips in completely under cover. And USA electing to deal with that stone by freezing to it, by putting one of their own on top of it.
Seems like this is a response on a missed tick shot, because you got to play into the rings with your next. You can't afford to go and play another tick shot.
Right.
Yep, for line, yep. Yep, you gotta keep coming, it's coming. Whoa.
Little tap 7.
That's okay. You let it get up on it.
That's fine,
Well,
Tab.
important thing was the angle on that if they do tap it. Nicely done. Tabitha, the miss with her first on that tick shot, but has had a fabulous game otherwise.
Yeah. So, and even the miss on the tick, Allison said that she just didn't give the right ice. So,
So scorekeepers, if you're listening.
yeah. Be kind to the lead throwing the tick shot. I know that comes up as a 0, but now the pressure's on Team China's second to put a rock in really good position and try to help generate a steal of multiple points at this in this phase.
And can't get by the front. They were so close to sneaking it by. Roll off and into the rings.
Yeah, and now this creates a choice.
Yep.
Being up by 4, Allison wisely chooses to peel the center guard.
You're just playing it this way, right? You got it.
Yep. Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. That a girl. Nice shot.
Well, just misses catching that one as well. They were looking at it, but
Yeah, but that wasn't their main goal. Their main goal was to make sure there was nothing left in front of the rings.
would have been a bonus. It would
It would have been a
those,
bonus.
Nice addition to the shot.
Yeah, we get a replay. We can actually hear the sweeping through
That a girl. Nice shot.
through the microphones that the players are wearing, which is just fantastic in our sport. It's one of the great gifts of curling that our athletes wear microphones while competing. Team China is going to be looking for a guard here.
Yeah, they want to protect things right now. And again, it's a 4-point lead. Try and set yourself up in a position to get a steal. Maybe a steal 1, later steal 2 if you have a scenario.
Yeah, you have to secure the steal of 1 in order to even have a chance at a steal of 2.
The wise statements of Ann Swisshelm. To steal 2, you have to steal 1 first.
Yes. So Natalie Nicholson from the United States will play an in-turn clockwise rotating peel. She's going to try and hit the yellow stone in front of the rings and roll her shooter all the way out of play.
And again, trying to see if they can get the one in the house, but we'll go over the top. So still remains that Chinese stone on the button, lying 1.
And Ray Wan, playing third for Team China, will be asked to replace that guard.
Well, you may think you can see that red one. Why wouldn't you make that play on it? This indicative of a 4-point lead?
Yes, most definitely. One of the really great things about the positioning of that China rock is that it's directly in front of their own, but it also moved to the other side of the ice, and it just changes things for the United States, makes them think about where to put the broom down, makes them think about how to execute the shot.
And they get the one on the side.
Yeah, Nicole Jornstad throws it very well, and they get the double peel, or the run back double, as it were.
经下来了哦，不擦不擦不擦，一刷不擦。
哎，
OK， 小球。
我觉得这个效果比站在那块儿好。
不能再下了。
我觉得这个效果
Roll,
比
I
站
just
在
get
三
rid
十
of
好
it. I think we just get rid of it. Yeah. Whoa, whoa,
Whoa.
red. Yes. Whoa, whoa.
I'll change of plans to go red on maybe setting it out just a little bit.
Yeah, so that was a shift to a plan B. That rock ran a little straight or maybe was just set a little bit out of the hand of the shooter. And they moved to plan B and get the run back to sit top button.
Well, it was a good quick alert call on the line there by Allison to make sure, let's make something of it.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get the shot we called, so let's make, as they called it, plan B.
Yeah, and that's smart awareness of playing the reality of the shot you've got instead of praying for the outcome you want. So it was a great shift to a plan B. But there's still a good opportunity for China to create some pressure here on the United States. A nice freeze, put her in control position on top of the rock in the 4 foot.
Well, that goes around everything to the back of the 8 foot. So still the U.S. lying 1. The U.S. does have the hammer here in this 9th end.
Leaves her the run though. I don't want to leave it a double either. You know, if we draw here, she has.
我感觉我们那个球都快停了，出手一给大了。
Yeah, you know, interestingly, with that miss, it changes the thought process for the skip from the United States. She was anticipating a made shot there, and she had probably prepared her options for a made shot.
She's gonna draw down to the one they just threw. Well, I mean, if we throw a guard and she makes the run, we won't be too happy. On top of ours might leave a double, and then there's 3 in there. So we just draw down to that back one. Even if she draws to us, she won't be shot. And if she tries to play that shot again, she's got to roll open.
So we just heard the options
back,
from
I
the
need
U.S.
like a
skip.
75.
She wants to draw down to the rock in the back of the rings that Team China just drew there. She thinks that will limit the potential damage or the level of difficulty she'll face with her last shot.
Room still. Line's getting better.
I like the call. I like playing in the rings, especially,
Right past ours.
as I said again, the 9-5 score, and you have the lead in the hammer.
Yeah.
Hard. You gotta get past it. Yep. You gotta get past it. Go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Go, 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 go.
Nice job, girls.
I don't know if it went further. Can they get shot stone getting to the inside of that one just thrown? Be almost frozen to it and get shot stone.
I know. A little more weight, hey?
Maybe I should have just let it tick it.
Yeah, so that's what Team China's going to try and do. They're going to try and freeze to that rock that's in the back of the 4 foot. They think they can get first count, and that definitely ups the level of difficulty for the U.S. rink. But even with that shot, even with a perfectly made shot here, the worst case scenario is USA up 3 with the hammer.
Playing 10.
这个给的小啊，稍微顶点线，稍微顶点线啊。
地线5
还可以，粘。
Again, this one, they're just not getting to the right spot on that one. Chips and rolls off.
Yeah, and this leaves USA a free draw for a 3rd point.
What was that last one? I had an 88, but she had something lower. All right, same thing.
Well, again, those are the numbers, the split times you hear from the front end.
不行，我看你点滑还有点小，不然出来有点小。Yeah, we're playing right back to where we were. A little more. Same. 7.
So as we see the last shot of the 9th end, Team USA has to get a bit of the forefoot for their 3rd point here in this end. And a 12-5 lead.
And there's the handshakes. They're already out. So it is a victory for Team USA. Knock off China. 12-5, the final.
Do you want us to take the stones back? Are we supposed to take the stones back? Okay.
Hang on a second.
放这儿吧，放这边。
Just leave them here.
She said just leave them.
放这边。
Yeah.
放这边就行。
Good game. Good game.
今天这
这个是不是感觉出来劲儿就小，比上一个小？
Put your hands on me. We gotta throw.
One of the great traditions in the sport of curling, the handshakes before and after a game exhibited
She's
at
like the best fan ever.
the international level of play.
I don't think she
A nice shot of a very happy Team USA to take the win on the opening draw for them here at the World Curling Championships, St. John, New Brunswick. And that's a final 12-5. And we get a replay on the pivotal shot in the 6th end. Team China is drawing against 3 US stones and needs to grab a piece of the forefoot and just comes up light, playing a shot on the ice that hadn't been played in a little while. And then we move to the 7th end, where Team China had a chance to score a single point by drawing down to a stone in the back button. And unfortunately, they just sit a little wide and don't quite get the curl. Then in the 8th end, they play a really nice end and set up a score of 2 with a hit and stick with skip Celia Louise' last shot. And then in 9, USA takes 3 points with their hammer for an end of the game.
Take the stones back.
Hang on a second.
放这儿吧，放这边。
Just leave them here.
She said just leave.
So as we get a view, we've got finals all around the sheet at this point. We get a peek in on Team Switzerland getting a victory in their first game over Team Germany. And the final is 10-4, Switzerland. 10-2, Russia over Latvia. 13-4, Sweden over Korea. And the final again on Sheet D, our feature game, was 12-5, USA over China. As we can see our standings, the top of the standings with a 2-win day, Team Sweden, Canada, Switzerland, the United States, tied for second place with 1-0, followed by Korea, Latvia, Russia, tied at 1-1, and then waiting to get their first wins on the board, China, Czech Republic, Denmark, Germany, and Scotland, all of which will be on the ice tomorrow. Our opening draw tomorrow morning is going to be Canada versus Czechoslovakia, Scotland versus Denmark, and we'll be back with you for the afternoon draw, China versus Switzerland. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Saying so long and good curling from St. John, New Brunswick, and the Women's World Curling Championships. Have a great night.
How important was it to get off to a good start in that game?
You know, I think after the last time we came in Lethbridge, it just feels so much better to start with a win, kind of start ahead of things and build some momentum and, you know, be able to play some shots and see those peels and things. It makes a big difference, I think.
And you guys played when you got the steal of 3. Was there a bit of frost creeping up? Was that what you were playing into?
Yeah, I mean, that side along the boards, along the side of the fans, really was tangibly different than the rest of the sheet. It was like night and day.
And you took advantage getting those big points in the second half. What was the key to that?
You know, I think part of it was just like not letting our rocks clump and get all like together so they could nestle in amongst a bunch of things and keeping things sort of spread out so that when she did make something like a freezer thing, it had to be really, really precise.
Congratulations. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks very much.